Buying a home is a complicated process, but I'd like to break it down and make it a bit easier. I'm Ryan Blanco, a realtor here in San Diego, and I have 10 tips that any potential home buyer can use. The first one is to look at your finances and determine what you can afford. Even if this is a good time to purchase a home, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good time for you to purchase one. This is the time to see whether home ownership might prevent you from addressing other important financial obligations in your life or any other sort of things you have going on. Secondly is to save 20% for a down payment. Now I know it's really tough for a lot of people to save 20% for a down payment. 20% of an entire home purchase price is quite a bit, especially for a first-time home buyer. But just keep in mind, if you aren't able to put 20% down, you're probably going to be paying PMI, or private mortgage insurance. And just for an example, private mortgage insurance on a $400,000 loan adds at least $200 to your regular monthly mortgage payment. The third tip is to be an informed buyer and doing your research. Now, you're not going to go online and purchase a home just because it has a lot of great pictures, but you should do your research and find out what other similar homes are selling for in the area. You're going to check out the school system, the crime rate, location to various amenities that you need, and whatever else is important to you. The best thing you could even do is just go to the neighborhood and talk to the various neighbors that already live there. The next tip, you've probably heard this before, but don't buy the biggest and best house on the block. This biggest and best house will always be limited to how much value it will rise, and it only helps the values of the homes around it. Sometimes it's best to actually buy the worst house on the block because the price per square foot will always sell for more than that biggest and best house. Tip 5, obtain a copy of your credit report. If you haven't done this in a while, it's a good idea to do it anyway. Annualcreditreport.com. They're going to give you a free credit report once a year, so you want to get a copy of that, check it out, make sure there's no errors on it, and get anything taken care of that's not correct handled before you actually even talk to a lender. Speaking of lenders, that's tip 6, to get pre-approved for a mortgage. A pre-approval is a good gut check on your price range that you can afford for a home, or at least that's what the bank feels that you can afford. So the days are long gone when banks would just lend money to anybody with a pulse. Now they're real thorough and real detailed with who they lend money to. So when comparing loans, you want to make sure that you compare apples to apples. Ask the loan officer to actually let you know how much the closing costs will be at closing, and also ask them for a good faith estimate. That way you can actually compare the loans side by side before making any decisions with any particular lender. So once you do get pre-approved, you will get a pre-approval letter from a lender, and that's going to get sent in with any offer that you put in with a particular home. Finding a real estate agent is tip number 7. Now, if you don't have an agent representing you as a buyer, you're really doing yourself a disservice because it's free. The home sellers are the ones that pay all the real estate commissions here in California. So to have a good, experienced, honest agent representing you is key here. Not only can they help you negotiate the best price and terms, they're going to show you all the houses that you want to see and give you a lot of great advice along the way. Starting with a fair offer is tip number 8. Now, your offer should be based on houses in the area that have sold in the past few months, but the offer could also reflect the price that you're actually willing to pay for the home, your financing terms, and the contingencies that you have. Now, these are all things that your agent can help you with when putting the offer together. Scheduling a home inspection is the 9th tip. So you think you found the perfect home, right? Well, hold on. Unless you've had a good home inspector come through and check everything out first, you could be in for some surprises. Now, every home has its share of problems, so don't get freaked out if problems do come up during the home inspection. These can often be addressed with the sellers through a request for repair or a simple credit at the close of escrow. Now, the whole goal here is to protect yourself as a buyer. The last and final tip is to review your HUD-1 statement before the close of escrow. This is what a HUD-1 statement looks like. You can see it has a lot of numbers and lines and details. This is a government document. The Department of Housing and Urban Development is the one that came up with it, and it basically goes through all the costs of the particular transaction, both on the buyer side and seller side. So you will be asked to review that before the close of escrow to make sure there's no errors on it. It's a lot easier to correct things before the close of escrow rather than after. And that's about it. I know there's a lot going on during the home buying process, but I hope you found that these tips useful and will help the process go a lot smoother for you. If you have any questions on anything here, feel free to contact me. Once again, Ryan Blanco. Thanks for watching.